All right, it's week 9 of the fantasy football season. We've got your top rankings, your injury and news impact, your top streamers, little start sit action here, and let's get right to it after wherever it is. This.
The Fantasy Six-Pack Hour with your hosts, Joe Bob and AJ Applegarth.
Touchdown!
All right, welcome to the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. No AJ Applegarth tonight, so it's just me and Corey Pieper. What's going on, man?
Yeah, it's not weird not to have him here, but we plow ahead and talk about fantasy football together. Good to see you.
Absolutely. So I'm plenty happy to see Week 8 go, as I'm sure many of you are. If it wasn't bad enough before we started the week, it got even worse as it went on. So shed a tear for Cam Skattebo. But we'll get into all of that and a whole lot more, man. So let's just jump right into things here. And we've got the good old rankings starting off here with the running backs that I'm a little bit lower on. A longer list this week. I'll just rip through it as fast as possible. A lot of negative ones here. Bijan, Derrick Henry, James Cook, Javonte, Swift, ETN, Rico Dowdell, Kamara, -1, Woody Marks, -1, Aaron Jones, -1. My -3s are Kenneth Walker and Trevion Henderson. So anything calling out to you here?
Well, let's pick one of the -3s. -1 isn't that big, so let's take the higher of the -3s there. And let's talk about Kenneth Walker. It's been a disappointing season from Kenneth Walker. I think I have him in a couple places and actually sat him right for his bye. And here we are coming back against your Commanders on Monday Night Football, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But you are down on him. Commanders run defense or just the whole situation in Seattle?
It's the usage. And he is still getting a lot of the early down work. So that's good. He's gonna have to pop one off though, which isn't out of the question, right? But if they get down close, they've been giving the ball to Charbonnet. And I think that's where he loses a lot of his value, Kenneth Walker does. And so if he's not getting those, inside the 5-yard line, inside the 10-yard line carries, and especially goal line, he loses value. He's gonna have to pop off like a 20+ yard run into the end zone for him to do that. So that's why I've got him a little bit lower than ECR right now. I mean, the matchup is great. Don't get me wrong. But that's usage that it still looks okay. But when you really dig deeper into it, it's not as great as it looks.
So he had his bye last week. He has played 7 games. You want to take a shot in the dark how many times he has finished as a top 24 running back in half PPR out of 7 games?
Top 24?
Yep. RB2 or better.
Twice.
You nailed it. Weeks 2, we finished at running back 8. Week 3, he finished at running back 10. Every other week, he has had a 26 a couple times and a 28, but it has been generally ugly, man.
I was there. Are those the weeks he scored?
Let me look. Those weeks are, yes, week 2 was the week he had a touchdown, and week 3 he had 2 touchdowns. Only ran for 38 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. Those are his only touchdowns.
Also, weeks the Charbonnet was not active.
Ooh, good catch. Let's talk about one more guy here quick on the downs, and that's coming off of a huge game, and someone I was down on, and I'll take the L on that. James Cook's been awesome all season long for Buffalo. I did not get James Cook anywhere. I think I have him in one best ball or something, but redraft traditional leagues did not take him, was worried about the touchdown regression, and he's just gets them in droves, man. He keeps getting them every game. So, but you're down 1 on him. Kansas City is a pretty good run defense, I feel like. So I understand that. That's why we're down 1 or?
A little bit, yeah. And, these Kansas City Bills games, much like Ravens Bills games, they're just crazy shootouts, man. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like the defense is like, all right, you all can take a vacation this game. We're just going to play backyard football. Y'all have some fun. Like, it's just weird. And so you kind of look at just the history of these matchups and just how much both quarterbacks are probably just going to air it out like crazy. Like James Cook is still a top 10 running back, so you're absolutely starting him. Is he going to find the end zone? Probably. But, you know, if I had to pick and choose, if I somehow had 4 top 10 running back options, he might be the odd man out, which is weird to say.
Let's see some guys you're above on.
Yep. So, yeah, a couple guys I'm a little higher on here. Achane +2, Kyron Williams +2, Vidal +1, Tracy +1, David Montgomery +1, Charbonnet +7. There you go. There's that one. Kareem Hunt +3, Krusty Merritt +1, Tajay Spears +2, Jordan Mason +3.
Ooh, those are some good ones.
Nah.
Let's do the Kareem Hunt one. Kareem Hunt seeing us a top 24 running back. We're talking that same game. He's not even, I mean, is it the fear of Pacheco missing? Do you not have Pacheco ranked?
I don't have Pacheco ranked.
That's what it is.
So
okay.
if Pacheco was active, Hunt will drop. Pacheco would come up. Both would probably be outside of RB2. I mean, it takes a touchdown for either one of them to kind of get into that value there. I'm eating crow, man. Like, I thought for sure after the last time they played and the usage like just flipped like crazy, and it was like, oh, they finally used Pacheco in there. They were choosing to use Pacheco in the red zone, in the green zone, or whatever they want to call it, like when you're inside the 10. They were choosing to use Pacheco for the first time, and like the snap count and the carries started like just, it was steadily going toward Pacheco, and then boom, he started getting those carries. I was like, oh, I'm all back in, and a lot of people were. They get inside the 10-yard line, and boom, it goes right back to Kareem Hunt again. And I'm like, no, what is going on? Like, stop it. And of course, last week it worked, so they'll never go away from it again. So
yeah, it's probably true. Let's talk the other one that I feel like is rookie version Kenneth Walker, where it's a lot of hype and it hasn't really developed, and that is your guy in Washington. We love the idea of Bill here, but Bill has been generally pretty bad now for fantasy for a while here with some. Okay, so it was the Chargers game, week 5, came out 14 carries for 111 yards, caught a couple passes, finished as the running back 5 on the week. And then it was, okay, well, now he's got the Bears, bad defense. Yeah, and then he ran 17 times for 61 yards. And then it was, well, Dallas can't stop anybody. And 13 carries for 33 yards.
That game doesn't count for anything.
Then he did it again this week on us. Like,
I know.
9 carries for 25 yards. If nothing else, if Jaden Daniels wasn't there, I get that the rushing lane shouldn't be there, but they weren't even attempting to, like, early off in the game, it was a lot of short passes from Mariota to receivers. I don't know, man. Here's another one. We're now 8 weeks into Bill's career here. He's had a 12th place finish, a 5th place finish, and that's it. Everything else outside of RB2 range. It's hard to start him.
It is. It definitely is. And I think what I'm banking on is Jaden Daniels coming back, and we'll get into that news later. And that's going to change the offense, right? That the last time Jaden Daniels played that Chicago game, it wasn't pretty, although he did have his better of the last 3 games, right? Since then, Dallas. Jaden Daniels was there for Dallas. I'm sorry. Okay. That game was an absolute, like, atrocious. There was no receivers, so the defense was just like, okay, we're just going to stop you, and that's all they had to do, right? Chicago also made I noticed they made a very concerted effort to stop the run. I don't think they were worried about Debo and his heel. They weren't worried about any of our other receivers, rightfully so. And so, that's what we got. We got a defense that just keyed in on stopping the run. And so, you look back to the last time that both Daniels Kresge, Merritt, and Debo, and we're not going to have McLaurin, unfortunately. But you look back at the last time these guys were all healthy.
Been a
He
while.
had a good game. He had a good game. But I don't know if he'll have that kind of game. But I do think he's flex worthy. That's where I've got him.
Yeah. Can I always ask you this. Do you actually have your full rankings up or do you not?
I did leave them up this week.
Because you know that I ask it. So can we talk about just those last two guys on the page? Who do we have higher between Tyjae Spears and Tony Pollard?
Spears.
And Jordan Mason or Aaron Jones? I
have Mason one higher.
Yep. See, those are the two right there, because those are the tough situations where I like Spears and Mason, but man, it's tough again with the splits that we're talking. It's just tough to go ahead and start any of them. But
and it was bad last week for Minnesota, and Wentz is now out for the season, and so you kind of wonder, how healthy was he even to start that game? It looked bad right from the beginning, and that affected the run game too. That affected the entire offense. It was just bad. Hopefully, JJ McCarthy coming in, at least being healthy. We hope gives a little spark to the offense, and so hopefully the run game is pretty good again. It was good the first couple of weeks of the season when these both these guys were active and healthy with JJ McCarthy. So you hope it gets back to that, but it's hard to trust right now. It really is.
I get it. Let's see some wide receivers, Joe.
Yeah. Longer list here. I put Ja'Marr Chase down -4, Pittman 1, Metcalf 2, Waddle 2, Flowers 1, Brian Thomas -2, Keenan Allen -1. I have Olave down 8, Worthy down 4, Quinshon Judkins down 3, down 2, and Rashid Shaheed down 2.
Let's start at the very top there. Ja'Marr Chase. So I can make a very good assumption why he's down 4. You assume that Joe Flacco will not be playing, but man, I hope that Jake Browning has been standing on the sideline saying, do you see how he's getting the ball? Was it 35 times over the last 2 weeks or something like that? 35 targets, just some absurd number, and just realizes
step back. It
doesn't matter. Just look at Ja'Marr Chase, and eventually he'll get open, and let's throw it to him. Because even with Joe Flacco, he was right back to easy. Where you took him, pick number 1 overall. Yeah. He was going to return it, no problem. I just hope Joe Flacco's good here, but I assume that's why he's 4 down. Is you're worried about Joe Flacco missing?
I am. That is legit the only reason why. And I mean, look, still wide receiver 5.
Sure. You can't not play him.
You're gonna play him, and look, even a couple weeks ago, right? He still eventually figured out how to get the ball to Ja'Marr Chase at the end of the game when it was garbage time. So hopefully that just carries over. But you got to knock it down just a little bit, especially with guys like Puka and JSN and CeeDee Lamb sitting up there, just elite of the elite guys. And when you got quarterback issues compared to those guys, also having pretty good matchups, you're going to take them if you have to make that random choice.
Now we'll drop down to players that you probably shouldn't have to play, but hey, we're dealing with buys here. Let's talk about the big -8 there on Chris Olave. What's the concern with Chris Olave going at the Rams?
Tyler Shough. Look, I know he got a ton of targets last week, and that seems awesome. Look, we see it a lot, right? The backup quarterback comes in and looked okay in the first, in the game that he came in. Defenses aren't preparing for the backup quarterback, right? So now they get tape on him, and it still wasn't good, right? They were just down 20 points. So all they did was pass. That's what it's going to take though, for it to work. The Rams do allow a good number of points to wide receivers, so there's that. I really don't know if putting in Tyler Shough is the right decision. I get you want to see your future. This season is lost. But from a fantasy standpoint, Olave is not somebody that I'm super interested in seeing right now in my starting lineup if I don't have to. I want to see it work first if I've got better options.
Yeah, I get that. I don't think you probably have Olave anywhere either. We kind of were lockstep on that one. So I don't have Olave anywhere. One player I do have, though, that we should talk about, because I know that we've both expressed our displeasure with the way Jameson Williams plays football and gets big blow-ups and nothing. I'm getting real sick of Xavier Worthy real fast here. With Rashee Rice back, there is very few targets going his way, and you're just hoping I needed, I don't remember, 16 or something out of him to win last week. The very first play of the game or first drive of the game, he had what I thought was going to be a 50-yard touchdown. He got tackled like 15 yards short. And then I don't think he got a ball thrown to him until the middle of the third quarter. He just does not get the targets. And it's very much back to Jameson Williams, where you're hoping that he catches 3 passes and one of them goes for a 60-yard touchdown.
Yeah, a little bit too much of a gadget guy. With Rashee Rice back, it is Rice, Kelsey, and the run game.
Yep.
And that's what it is. And so Worthy isn't droppable. Brown and Juju are 100%. Worthy is flex play pretty much in my book. Wide receiver 3 range this week. He is most definitely boom bust.
Yeah. Yep.
It's fun to watch though, man.
It is fun to watch. And man, he is so frustrating. Let's see who else we got here. Who we got higher?
All right, higher. This is a very long list. JSN, Amon-Ra, Pickens at +2, McConkey, London +1, Collins, McMillan, Higgins +2, Sutton 1, Diggs, Hunter, Addison, Samuel, Shakir, Robinson, Dobbs. And I had to put J-Mo on there just because. That's why I put it so long, because I actually like him better than ECR this week, which is like unbelievable. I never do.
Oh, that's awesome.
Literally the only reason why I made this list so long. I could have just like skipped 10 of these.
I had to make sure we mentioned him being high for a change.
I know.
Let's see here. Here's one. We're gonna start all.
I don't want to talk about him.
How about Tedrow and McMillan? I feel like you've kind of been a deter on Ted McMillan at times, where you've just been a little underwhelmed, I think, with the start. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but we talk enough that I think I can say that. Yeah. But you're too higher on him this week.
Look, as bad as it was last week for the Panthers and Andy Dalton, he saw 10 targets and caught, I think, 8 of them.
99 yards.
Seven of them for 99 yards. It's like his second best game of the season. Green Bay's defense is good. Don't get me wrong. But we have also seen time and time again where the Green Bay Packers decide to go, oh, this is an easy win, and then not show up. And so, they start letting yards up and things like that. It's still going to be probably an ugly game, even if Bryce Young is back. And honestly, the line, I have Bryce Young starting right now, but the line has come out at -12 or something like that in favor of Green Bay. That almost screams that Vegas seems to think that Andy Dalton is playing. So definitely keeping an eye out on that one. I have not looked at the practice reports for that. But either way, it's going to be a rough game for whoever the quarterback is. But if it does happen to be Andy Dalton, then I think you can at least just expect him to just throw the ball to McMillan all game long.
The veterans get it. The veteran guys get it. Like, we show up, hey, look, there's my best player. Let's just throw him the ball. And
actually,
Flacco, Andy Dalton.
Yeah. Bryce Young logged a full practice today, and actually Andy Dalton has a thumb injury. Ooh. So actually it sounds like Bryce Young will play. So maybe that line will move a little bit, but maybe not. I don't know.
I'll go with, how about you have him right at wide receiver 24 there. So the very bottom of a wide receiver 2. Let's talk Travis Hunter, who has been difficult to trust is a nice way to say it. Now they're coming off of their bye. And the game before that, we saw him get a little bit involved, but that was also Brian Thomas had a bit of a shoulder injury. And it sounds like, from what I've read, he should be good to go this week.
Mm-hmm.
But you just think Travis Hunter, you saw enough out of the one game that we're back in. He's ready to play receiver full time and deliver for us.
It's a little bit of, I've seen it for 2 games now, right? Now he had the big performance, right? The big production come out in week 7, right? The 100 yards, saw the catches. What I liked in even the week prior was that he ran 86% snaps or routes. I mean, so he is the Jaguars have now decided, okay, no, we need him more on offense than we do defense, which early on they weren't doing. They were playing him so much defense. He wasn't seeing the field enough on offense. It was like 50-50. So it was like, you cannot trust this guy if he's only going to see offense 50% of the game. 79% of the snaps in week 6, 86% of the snaps in week 7. You see the talent, right, when he's on the field. So, and it seems like him and Lawrence have a much better chemistry than Brian Thomas Jr. So at this point, you got to like that.
We do have to like that. Do you have him above Brian Thomas Jr.? I don't see him on here. It's got to be pretty close, I would assume.
I have Brian Thomas like 3 higher.
So, okay. So close. Yeah, we'll see.
Vegas helps.
That certainly does.
Both of that. So
can we talk about one guy quick before we move on to quarterbacks that I don't know. He's fine, but disappointing at times. It's Courtland Sutton. You have him just one spot higher there. We talk about Houston's tough pass defense. I just thought that we were going to get all sorts of targets funneled to Courtland Sutton, and the emergence of Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims and I don't know, just the other receivers. I don't know if they're not as good as Courtland Sutton, but it just is so limited what I thought was a pretty high ceiling to making him. He's a little more boomer busty than I was hoping for. Let's just say that. You feel the same way, or am I just out on a limb there?
It's a little bit that I don't disagree with you there. I still think Sutton's like the main guy to trust there. I was digging into a little bit more of the numbers after we did the waiver show on Sunday night, and dude, I mean, Franklin over the last few weeks has actually out-targeted Courtland Sutton.
I think on the year it's only like 2 different.
Dude, it's not much at all. I was actually really surprised at how much it is. It's just that Sutton has been much more consistent when he's been thrown the ball to. Like Franklin had that one big week and then just couldn't catch anything. It felt like it was like, what is going on? And so now it seems like maybe he's starting to figure it out a little bit more. Who knows? But Sutton's still good. This Houston team though is tough. It's not, I actually don't really like Bo Nix this week. I'm buying in pretty hard to the fact that Houston's just going to shut down pretty much everybody at quarterback this year. It's been rough for a lot of good quarterbacks against them.
Yes, sir. What position are we going to next?
I think we're doing the quarterbacks, right?
Let's do it.
That's what you said. So do quarterbacks here. I've got Caleb Williams, Kyler Murray, Jared Goff, Bo Nix, all down on my list.
And I think it's
Bo Nix.
No, you just talk Bo Nix. I think it's Kyler. So you have, Kyler, based off of that, most people have him as a top 10 back. You have him not startable in a 12-team league. If there's a soft landing spot, it is the Dallas Cowboys coming off of a bye. So he's had time to get ready and get healthy. I know you've been down on Kyler at times. It's still just concerns about Kyler. You're still worried about an injury. Where are we at here?
It's Kyler Murray, man. I can't.
You're just down.
You're talking about soft landing spots, man. New Orleans, Carolina, San Fran actually gives up good number of points to quarterbacks. Tennessee, those have been 5 out of his 6 games. 4 of his 5 games played. I can't count. Then he got hurt. Now Dallas. Dallas obviously should be cakewalk, right? I just don't trust it. He's averaging on the year. I thought the numbers would be in here, but they're not. But it's like 18, 15, 14, 18, 15. Like, those are gross. I don't think he has a top 12 quarterback finish the entire season.
Eek. Yeah, it's not good. I am playing him in a one spot where I have him. I don't remember. I think maybe my other option is Jordan Love. I don't remember if that's it or not, but
Yeah.
I'm
16
planning to play him, but
yeah.
I don't
QB
love it.
finishes this week. 16 this year. 16, 22, 16, 16, 21.
That's like the definition of mid.
I know.
It's like the definition.
Dude, I called it like early in the year. I wrote when I was writing the trade article over on USA Today. I said for like week 3, I'm like, it is time to trade Kyler Murray. I'm like, I'm done with this guy. How much more average quarterback play do we want to deal with?
And you put your money where your mouth is. You actually did trade him, I believe, right? In the league we're in. Yeah,
I did.
Look at this guy putting his money where his mouth is. Hey, if you're not going to take your own advice, don't do it, man. So there you go.
I immediately went out and looked for a quarterback upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I'm tired of this. Like, you could stream quarterback and it would have been better, in most weeks than Kyler Murray.
Let's do Jared Goff too here quick before we switch over to guys you're higher on.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Goff has also been vastly disappointing this season. I have his finishes up here. 21, number 1. That was that week where they blew out the Bears. But 23, 22, 13, 18, 21. He's only broken 20 fantasy points 2 times, and one of them was right at 20.1. And I know Minnesota's defense not great, but is it just you're down on Jared Goff too?
Yeah, I mean, I think look, Jared Goff carries a name in fantasy. That offense, right? Amon-Ra, Laporta, Gibbs, those guys. Like, you think and JMO, right? Like, you think, oh, Jared Goff's got all these guys to throw to, and he was, crushing it last year. A bunch of like 35 and 40-point outings here and there, and like, yeah, of course, against Minnesota, who been struggling at times, this year on defense. Yeah, it's a good play. I don't think so. Like, maybe coming out of the bye week, it works. It is at home, thankfully. But that hasn't really mattered either. At home against Cleveland, quarterback 21. At home against Tampa, quarterback 21. Like, okay. Division game too. Like, those could be tough, although he smashed the Bears. So maybe he has, them locked down. But yeah, man, it's hard to trust these guys who they haven't been doing it this year. So let's stop buying into the name and start,
production.
It is a point in the season where it's time to start chasing the results.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see some guys who got higher on then that have been delivering these results.
Yeah, Stafford. I'm up on Jaden Daniels probably because a lot of people don't have him playing. Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy. I have him projected to play this week as well, which I don't think a lot of people do. And then I'm a little higher on Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, we're not going to do Daniels or Purdy. Those ones are easy. I mean, Sam Darnold, QB1 from Joe Bond. Here we go. I finally got him there. So he is in. Fully in. Sam Darnold.
You got me a couple of weeks ago, and then I was like, it's a bad matchup against Houston, but he's been playing well, so let's just ride it. And I should have trusted my gut where it was like Houston's tough, and I should have put Darnold down. Instead, you've been chirping in my ear for like 6 weeks, and I was like, all right, I'll do it. And got me. But this week against Washington, they're just. They play so well at times, and then it all just crumbles. And they are banged up in the defense, man. The front line is banged up. They got some guys missing in the secondary as well. Lattimore, even though he had the pick last week, which was a phenomenal play, by the way. That was probably one of the best interceptions I've seen in a long time. It's still just not very good anymore. And so Darnold, I think, coming in here is going to have his way against this Washington Commanders secondary.
Yeah, I think he probably will too. I've been using Sam Darnold in a lot of spots, and yeah, it hurt. The Houston week was bad, but there's been a lot of pretty good production in there, so I'm good on that one. Matt Stafford at 8. I mean, the only way that doesn't deliver is that they just get up so big that it's just a Kyron week. That's the only risk there is. I don't think that New Orleans defense can stop the run or the pass.
No, you're right. And he expected to have Puka back this week too. So, it's all systems go, man. Let's have some fun.
All systems go. Just fire them up. Let's see the all systems go tight ends. Or no.
No,
all systems down tight ends.
Yeah, maybe. But I do have Trey McBride down 1, Laporta down 1, Pitts down 1, Andrews down 2, Theo Johnson down 3, and TJ Hawkinson down 1. By the way, TJ Hawkinson
drop
tight end 19. I have dropped him. He is absolutely droppable. I mentioned it in the usage article. It is just not useful anymore.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can drop. I think you can drop Mark Andrews too. I mean, we talk about Mark Andrews down 2.
Yeah.
If you want to hold Mark Andrews this week and see what he does with Lamar, fine. I don't want to play him. You have him outside the top 12 tight end. So in a traditional 12-man league, you do not want to play him. And if it doesn't happen this week, why are you holding Mark Andrews? Right?
His snap count last week was it wasn't good. Likely was playing a lot and running more routes and things like that. I think that's all right. I don't have all the stats up in front of me right now, but I do want to say that Mark Andrews was on the field for 58% of the snaps, ran 56% routes, to where Isaiah Likely was on the field for 58% of the snaps, but ran 60% routes. So pretty even. But you don't want to see that as your starting tight end. I know we all like Fannin and Njoku. We like Fannin because it's he kind of came out of nowhere. So he's like a free square, right? It kind of feels like to where I don't really rank Fannin all that high when Njoku is healthy for this exact same reason. Now, yes, you do get Lamar back this week. And so that plays a big factor into it. Miami is bad. So that's going to play a factor into it. But I mean, it could also just be the type of thing where it's Derrick Henry and Zay Flowers and Lamar, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they're going to do.
Before. Yeah, they do that before.
And that works a lot. So why not? They'll use Andrews and Likely and even Charlie Kohler, who did catch the touchdown last week, by the way, to block. And why wouldn't they?
Half point PPR scoring. They've played 7 games. How many times has Mark Andrews finished as a top 10 tight end?
Top 10?
Top 12.
Obviously once.
One time he finished as the tight end 2. Here's another one. He has not finished inside the top 20 only one time. He has gotten that 1 week he had 24 fantasy points. Other than that, his next high is 6.5 point PPR.
Yeah.
It is brutal. Yeah. So as like you said, 1 week, hold it. But if it's not this week, man, I'll drop Mark Andrews. I was not big on Mark Andrews, just drop it.
Look, I said it in the article that I wrote about Hawkinson and Andrews. You're right, it's right in that wheelhouse. There are guys that we talk about them every single week on the show, it feels like. Drop TJ Hawkinson, right? If you look at his usage, right, it looks okay at the end of the day, right? It's but he saw 6 or 7 targets. They're all coming in the fourth quarter, and they're all little dump offs. It's
there's no value to him. There's no value to it.
His ADOT this year, his average depth of target, 4.5 Hawkinsons. That's so bad. And I looked at it. He's got 34 targets on the year. Maybe 36. I think 36 targets on the year. 17 of them have come in the fourth quarter.
Not good.
You would hope at that point, that means they're down, so they're still passing. So he would be down the field. No, they're keeping him into chip block or whatever it is, and then he just kind of squirts out, and he's the last man left standing, and he's just the little dump off guy. It's such a weird usage for him. I've never seen them use TJ Hawkinson like this ever. So, but I don't see how it changes because the offensive line is not good this year. So
no.
All right. Last one up here. Guys I like a little more. Tyler Warren +1, Kelsey +2, Loveland +1, Zach Ertz +1, and Juwan Johnson +4.
Oh, the one that you're going to be questionable whether or not you're starting or not. Like, you're going to start Tyler Warren. You're going to start Travis Kelce. Let's talk about Colston Loveland. So Cole Kmet, I don't remember if we talked about Cole Kmet last week. I think just in the quick hitters at the end, I mentioned that he had a back injury, and maybe we could see Colston Loveland because of that. Excuse me. And he came out, and right away they threw him 2 or 3 balls, and then it just fell apart, and he ended up with, I think, 3 catches for 38 yards, which is not what we were hoping for. But it's Cincinnati, so I get why you're a little higher on him. But I'll say this: if Colston Loveland is my option, I don't know, man. That's so tough. You don't want to play. I can't imagine what the options are below him, but you want somebody more reliable than that to be. That is your back end tight end one there.
Yeah, it just feels like a rough week for tight end, man. Like a lot of the streamers that we normally like aren't here, like Mason Taylor. And so like the tight end position is hurt. And then like it feels like some of the guys that we were having, we had hope for at some point. TJ Hawkinson falls into that, we've sort of given up on, right? Evan Ingram is really no longer a guy that I'm interested in. We're giving up on these guys. And so the top end here is sort of falling off, and Loveland's sort of a last gasp of like, well, it gets Cincinnati. Let's see what happens, right? And Luther Burden is going to be probably out, so that's one less guy seeing targets. I know they're going to put in Zacchaeus, and so that really shouldn't affect things a lot. But I do think that like they'll rotate in Luther Burden enough to where like that was just like, oh, hey, we rotated Zacchaeus out or DJ Moore out, and we've got put Luther Burden in. So now it's just like another like reliable guy that they were going to go to instead of Loveland. So now they're not going to have that, right? And so whoever they have to rotate in, it's going to be like, no, you just go over there. I'm going to pass it to Loveland instead, right? And so maybe that gives Love a little more. And of course, like the matchup is just so good. Like the Bears, this is a get right game for the Bears big time, and they need it badly.
As a Packers fan, they never need it badly, Joe. They can always be down there. I wouldn't be disappointed with that. So good for the Bears. Tyler Warren's the man. Juwan Johnson could be fun, but you don't want to have to play him. So we'll see.
Yep. All right. Moving over here to our week 9 news and injury impact here. Start off here with the unfortunate news that I mentioned near the top. Cam Skattebo, bad ankle injury. Out for the season, obviously. Tyron Tracy, clearly the next guy up. How much do we trust him in fantasy, though?
So we had someone in the Discord, I forgot who it was, ask Kamani Vidal or Tyrone Tracy rest of the season. I think it was in our Discord. And I said Tracy just because there's still the chance that Haskins comes back, but it's hard to imagine that.
Hampton,
excuse me. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
It's while Hampton is out, I don't know how both of them aren't top 24 running backs most of the time. They have solid workloads. It's hard to imagine that you're not going to be playing Tyrone Tracy in most situations. He should be an RB2. We've seen him be successful before. Maybe it wasn't as good as Skattebo, but I think he'll get 15 touches a week. This offense looks a lot better than it did last year when we saw Tracy be like the only part of the offense, along with Malik Neighbors that ran well. With Jackson Dart there, it opens up some more lanes. So, yeah, I think he's a tight end too, or running back too, and go ahead and use Tyrone Tracy in most cases.
Yeah, I actually had Tracy on a couple teams, so I'm plugging him in.
Did you see it? Did you have any league where he was a free agent?
I did not. One actually. Yeah. My home league, like family friends league. And I didn't. It's just like standard waivers, so I didn't have enough. I didn't have a high enough spot to get him.
So I have one where he is a free agent, and it's a fab league, and it actually runs 2 a.m. tonight. It runs on Thursday morning instead of Wednesday morning. and I bid it's $1,000, and I think I still had 700, and I went $500 because there's unlikely to be that level of running back hits the waiver wire in the next 5 weeks. I mean, anybody can get hurt, right? But that's the type of running back that you save that type of money for. So I went big. We'll see if I get him or not. But
yep, that'll be interesting. So moving over here, I already mentioned this one a little bit. Terry McLaurin out with the quad injury. It is official. We saw him on the sideline at the Monday night game, right? Yeah, Monday night game. At some point, he was just staying on the sideline. Had made 2 phenomenal catches, by the way, like the 1 touchdown catch, and then that one like down the sideline just dove and somehow stayed in bounds. So he was looking pretty good, like, you know, moving well, it seemed like, and then just who knows what happened. So that's not good news for him. Especially being ruled out this quickly. So, I mean, what are your thoughts here? Like, all go Debo, or, you know?
You're going to play Debo. Wherever you have him, it's hard to, again, if you have Debo, I think you're going to almost have to play him. He's a top 20 wide receiver. The other receivers, Chris Moore, I don't really trust it. Luke McCaffrey, I don't really trust it. Zach Ertz has been there. He gets a bump. And if Jaden's there, the whole offense will function better. And I do think Jaden will be there. We don't have a slide for that. I do think Jaden will be there as well. So that's a plus. It's better for Debo. This sucks for Terry McLaurin. We've held him for, was it 5 weeks he missed, 4 weeks he missed earlier in the year. This is a couple of guys that we've dealt with this already this year, where Mike Evans, we got it for a few minutes and then he was out again. And you drafted Chris Godwin knowing there was a chance of injury, and you got a week out of him, and we're back to hurt. This is tough. And so now, like you said, because he's ruled out when we're talking on Wednesday and their game is until Sunday night, I'm not feeling great about him the next week. I mean, I don't have any like inside information on that, but just reading through the tea leaves here, if you're ruling him out this early, that's not a good sign. So we hope the quad injury heals in a hurry, but I would not expect to have Terry McLaurin back till at least week 11 or 10. They have a bye still coming in week 12. Hopefully we get him back before that, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they just hold him up through their bye. We've seen that's what happened with Brock Bowers.
Absolutely.
So we'll see. Just be aware that could happen.
Yeah. And I mean, look, I hate to say it, but like I kind of called it preseason. And I think a lot of people probably were on the same boat. It's like these guys who sit out that late into camp tend to get injured, right? Because they're not quite ready. So I'm not totally surprised. It sucks, though. It really sucks. He's such a good player. Carson Wentz here, out for the season, like I said. So, I mean, not a huge, like, I mean, I think we were going to get JJ McCarthy pretty soon anyway. But, dude, like, you feel bad for this guy. You really do. Like, he should not have been out there to start the game. And as soon as, like, every single play, man, like, I mean, a fly could fall on his shoulder and he'd be like, like it was bad. Like, really,
and it wasn't even
bad.
a competitive game.
No,
that was the thing. Like, they were way out of it by that point, and they just kept rolling him out there. And it felt awful to watch it. You just wanted to see, just send out, I forget the Max Brosmer, the backup while JJ McCarthy was up. Just send him out there. You see what you got. Save Carson Wentz, because, like you said, it was like watching a car accident that you couldn't look away from, because he was getting hit constantly. He was clearly in pain. It was just a matter of how long is he going to be out after this? And now we get the news that the rest of the season here. And like you said, I think JJ McCarthy, now they don't have any excuses, right? Like, maybe there's been rumors that they were making excuses. There's the video of someone kind of crashing into him in the sideline and him hurtling on this bad ankle and looking fine. I don't know. Maybe he was hurt. Maybe he wasn't hurt. Whatever. He is going to get a full run the next 7-8 weeks, what's left in the season here, 8 weeks, and we'll see if he's got it or not. He looked really good the first week. He looked really bad the second week. It is extremely small sample sizes. Do not judge JJ McCarthy on one game or the other. Let's see how he does the rest of the way. But Superflex leagues, I mean, go ahead and fire him back up. Go ahead. You're gonna. There's so many injuries. I'm laying him.
I will be honest. I don't have a lot of trust in JJ McCarthy. You say one good game, one bad game, dude. It was one good quarter.
It's true.
I mean, let's be real. It was one good quarter. I'm sitting there watching the game, and I had him, stashed in one league as like a backup quarterback and going, oh God, like what is going on here? And then the fourth quarter happened and I'm like, well, all right. And I felt pretty good. I was like, all right, I got Dak crapped the bed the first week and I got JJ sitting there and I'm like, let's do this. And then it went completely the other way. So I was like, oh, great. The first three quarters were probably more what I should have paid attention to. But all right, it is what it is. Isiah Pacheco is the next up here. We talked about this during the rankings portion here where I've got Kareem Hunt a little bit higher. And it's because Isiah Pacheco left Monday night with a knee injury. He went to the training table and got looked at and they were all laughing and smiling. He got up right away and started jogging around the sideline. Never went back in the game. The game was in hand. There's no reason to put him in there. But now he's week to week with an MCL sprain. So a lot of people think he's just going to sit out this game. It's a tough game though, man. So maybe he pushes through it, but I don't know. I think they could probably get away without having to use him. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. They also happen to be a team where after this Buffalo game, they have a bye. So if you want to sit him out this week, they can sit him out essentially for 2 weeks. And then his quad or his knee should be good to go at that point because he's sat out 2 full weeks. So if I'm a betting man, that would be my guess, is that he will not play this game. And you'll see, like you said, you'll see Kareem Hunt. Maybe we'll see some more Brashard Smith. I was very disappointed in his usage last week. I had him in the waiver wire the week before, coming off of a good game, and then it fell off. The first game he hadn't caught a ball, which was odd, but I think Pacheco sits this one out. We see Kareem Hunt, borderline RB2 there. Brashard Smith plays a little bit more, and it's just actually more good things for the passing options. They'll probably throw the ball out more, and then he'll likely sit out the next week, and hopefully we get him back after the bye. But it's another missing RB that's not great.
Yeah. It makes my my teams where I've got him and I've been struggling to figure out if I should risk it with him in my flex anymore. I can just be I don't have to worry about it anymore. I'm tired of trying to figure out if he's going to be good or not. Most of the time, no. So next up here, Tyler Shough, as I was properly corrected in the Saints training camp video. I don't remember even what I called him. Probably Shough or something like that. The guy was like, "Oh, by the way, it's Shough," and I was like, "Oh, I feel like a jerk." Anyway. So you're talking to a Saints beat writer, and it's just I sound like a moron. It's cool. What else is new, right? So Tyler Shough taking over QB in New Orleans. I mean, it wasn't really working in New Orleans with Rattler. He was sort of starting to get it with Olave, but the offense still was just atrocious. Any hope for this offense getting better with Shough there, or just more of the same, or worse?
I don't think so. They've been more competitive than I thought. I'll give them that. On Spencer Rattler, I don't want to say he was awesome. They have been more competitive than I thought they would be, but it's a lot of that's why Chris Olave has been so good as it's been. So I should pull up his ADOT because it has to be exceptionally low because it is supremely short routes that they are running to help Spencer Rattler be okay there. But I don't expect any of that really to change with Tyler Shough. I think that it'll still be a lot of short routes and it'll be a lot of trying to keep the game close. And they've done that. They've won the one against the Giants, but I don't think it's an arrow up or down for anybody. You're going to generally probably play Olave. Shahid's boom or bust. Kamara is, you were just talking about playing Pacheco. I mean, it's the same thing. Do you want to play him? Not really. If you don't help it, I have him in a team, and I don't really want to play him if I can help it. But there's some weeks where we're dealing with buys, and you're like, okay, well, you're my flex option. So,
how bad is it? We're saying Alvin Kamara is a flex option, which I absolutely have him in that range. He's RB25 and half PPR right now. Yeah. The usage last week was awful. I didn't think it could actually get worse with Kendrick Miller out, but it somehow did. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to do with this guy.
I am well aware. That was you were big on Pacheco and Swift. I was in on Kamara in that range, and it's Swift is the only
We're one out of
really
3.
delivered. Yep, you deliver. You got Swift right. The rest of us, not so much.
All right.
So. I wish they would just throw him the ball again. That's what's been so disappointing.
I know, that's the weird thing. And then
he's still catching an extremely high amount of the routes, but they're just not. I think he only ran a few routes last week, and they threw him the ball twice, 2 times. Alvin Kamara, one of the best pass catching backs in the league. That'd be like if McCaffrey went out and routinely got 2 catches a week. What are we talking about here?
And then you would think okay, Devin Neal probably comes in and takes the Kendrick Miller role, which he took some carries away, right? And so maybe more of the passing down work would go to Kamara. Mm-hmm. No, he took more he had 3 targets or whatever it was. And he didn't even carry the ball once. This entire Saints coaching staff needs to get smacked upside the head and what are y'all doing? You're ignoring your best player.
Yep.
It makes no sense. All right.
Saints rant over.
Get off my soapbox there for a minute.
That's okay. You can rant all you want.
Over to Joe Flacco, Mr. Elite himself. Dealing with the AC joint sprain, sounds like he's really not going to play this week, man. It sounds ominous for him, which sucks. This has been a fun story to watch for sure. And obviously, Ja'Marr Chase has seen a record number of targets these last 2 weeks. It's just been crazy. T. Higgins has been usable again. The running game has been going. Chase Brown and even Samaje Perine is somewhat useful. The whole offense is man, we're just gonna score 35 points and just hope our defense can stop into 34, which is happened twice or happened once and not happened once. So there you go. Again, what we kind of talked about it, but what are you thinking? With Jake Browning, you think he's gonna be the last quarter of the last game he played in before the trade for Joe Flacco? He looked decent. Of course, it was garbage time, but any hope that sort of carries over to this game if Flacco's out?
I mean, the hope is that it's the Chicago Bears defense, and they're pretty bad at football. So that's the hope, is that it's a good matchup. I think that last game was against Denver, if I'm not mistaken, before they traded for Flacco, because then it was Green Bay, Pittsburgh, and the Jets. And in Green Bay, he was great in the second half. And then the Pittsburgh game, we made the jokes about the old bull, and all they did was ball out all night long, him and Aaron Rodgers. And then last week, him and somehow Justin Fields, actually. Somehow they lost in that game because of Justin Fields. But anyways,
Detroit.
Well, the last game for Jake
Denver was the next to last game. He scored 5.5 points.
That's the one I remember. I forgot the Detroit one.
Detroit, was the one where it was garbage time. They got down big and they just threw a bunch of touchdowns at the end.
So Detroit's defense is better, not as good as Denver's, but it's not bad. So what you're hoping for is that he's just watched enough Joe Flacco, and you're just going to try to get the ball to Ja'Marr Chase 5 or 6 times. He's going to throw it to him 12 to 15 times, and he catches 6 of them for 80 yards, which he can do. I mean, he could turn 6 catches into 120 yards, right? And 2 touchdowns. That's how good Ja'Marr Chase is. T. Higgins is awesome. That's what we've seen with Joe Flacco, is he understands that I have 2 incredible wide receivers, and I've just got to get the ball to them, and they're going to make plays with it. Hopefully Jake Browning has learned enough if we had to see it, but I don't want to play him. Even in a super flex league, I wouldn't play him over. I'd play Andy Dalton if he plays over him. I have to think of some of the other guys that are filling in right now.
I don't know if I would play Andy Dalton over him. You at least have Hall of Famer type weapons to throw to as Jake Browning.
I just remember how miserable it was. Though,
I know. I'm very aware.
Like I said, you don't want to play either of them, but you're not. You had T. Higgins, I think, on one of those lists when we talked about it earlier. T. Higgins isn't still inside your top 20, I assume, right? I would guess he is. You're not going to be able to get off these guys, even if Joe Flacco is out. Yeah, see, I can't imagine that many teams have 3 receivers that are better than T. Higgins as an option. And even last week, he had 2 catches for 45 yards and a touchdown. It was basically one big play, but you got to play him. And it sucks. Hopefully Joe Flacco goes, but I think it's at best 50-50, and they're another team. They have a bye the week after. So it's easy. You say, here you go, 40-year-old Joe Flacco, take this week off. You get the next week off, and let's get that shoulder fixed.
Yeah, I think the one thing that Browning you would hope would learn from watching Joe Flacco, a 40-year-old quarterback coming in who also is just a statue, right? The one thing you would hope that he learned is that just step back and just throw the ball. Timing, just throw it. Stop waiting for them to get wide open, which is what was killing you. That's what has to happen. So another injury here, bye week player, Quinshon Judkins. Been having a phenomenal season. It's unfortunate to see him go down, but it's a bye week injury, so we're not going to get a lot of updates on this. I don't think it's very unusual unless it's like he's automatically ruled out for like a few weeks type of thing. But this one seems like it's day to day. I'm not going to ask if you think he's going to come back because we don't know that. You'd be completely guessing. But like if he doesn't come back, do you have any faith in Dylan Sampson?
If you have Quinshon Judkins on your team right now, you should drop your worst player and put Dylan Sampson on your bench just in case. That's what I would say. Anybody else, I wouldn't. I don't have the faith I have in Dylan Sampson is like guess flex play mostly in a PPR league because of what he can do as a pass catcher. But that's the only person who needs the value right now with Dylan Sampson. I think it's more likely he does play, and because of that, if I have Quinshon Judkins, I will eat a roster spot for 1 week to make sure Dylan Sampson's on my bench just in case. But that's beyond that. I don't think you need to have Dylan Sampson.
So I have Quinshon Judkins in one league.
Yep.
And I did not go after Dylan Sampson because I don't care.
Yeah, that's fine too. Yeah.
I was like, I could pick him up.
Who's your worst running back?
Still not playing him. I don't even remember now. I had to like go back and remember which team it's on. I've got like 7 teams, so I don't feel like going through all of them now.
Like, I had one when I had Quinshon Judkins, and it was down to drop Nick Chubb, or for Dylan Sampson, or just keep Nick Chubb. What are you doing in that case?
I might keep Chubb.
Yeah.
I really do, dude. Sampson was terrible to start the year. Like, why do we think this is going to get any better?
I don't trust beyond Quinshon Judkins, anybody on the Browns, maybe Harold Fannin and Njoku is rough in the streets, dude.
The only guys you can trust are the tight ends, and even they are not like must starts. They just are like, they're getting the most targets on the team, and so they score a touchdown, but the run game is so bad without Judkins. Like, it's so amazing how he came in. It was like, oh, they can run the ball. Like, maybe they're not that bad. Oh, no, it's just Sampson and Ford were. So, okay. All right. Moving on. A couple quarterback, Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson looking like they're going to be ready to go. So,
yeah, I just wanted to mention these guys, some of the guys that were going to get back from injury. We talked about Lamar last week, and when we talked about it, I said, I just want to make everybody aware. It is not 100% that he's going to go. We all thought it was going to happen, and then here we go. It didn't happen again, and now the Ravens are getting fined for having him mentioned as a full participant on Friday, and then it didn't actually end up playing. So expect Lamar to back, expect Kyler back, and like you said, you're a little down on Kyler. It's a great matchup against Dallas, and Lamar has a great matchup against Miami. Go, and this time I feel very confident that Lamar will be in there.
Yeah, that was a weird one with Lamar. I thought for sure he was going to be in, and then it was like, oh, but no, he's still questionable. Like, wait, what? Okay, yeah. I don't get it. Drake London and his hip injury, and Nico Collins likely to return with the concussion. I mentioned Christian Kirk also practicing today. That's actually really good. We know that Nico Collins is so much better when Christian Kirk is on the field. So hopefully that both come back.
You talked about how you can get rid of week 8. So here's how week 8 went down. When we talked last Wednesday night, we knew that Nico Collins was concussed, right? Then, I don't know, I want to say it was maybe Friday. It was something like, AJ Brown isn't playing. So we're not talking about AJ Brown because they're on a bye this week. But then it was, okay, well, AJ Brown's coming off a good game. He's not playing. And then you're like, okay, I've dialed in my lineup. We're in middle of the day Saturday. I've got my lineup in here. I hate my third wide receiver because all of them are hurt. But, I got Isiah Bond here. And then like middle of the day on Saturday, suddenly just Drake London's out. Just a late kick in the nuts to everyone. Like, what even happened?
Yeah, suddenly I know.
Drake London.
Even the AJ Brown injury kind of came out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, he was hurt? Like, Where I didn't.
Those two were brutal. The AJ Brown one, Drake London one, just out of nowhere, is right at the end of the week. On a week, like you said, we already had 6 buys.
Yeah.
And so I expect Drake London to play. It feels a lot better. It sounds like he was out at practice with his, but until I hear an official he's playing, you can't be completely certain of it because it was so late last week and there was no reason to think he wasn't going to play. So hopefully,
what if it was one of those? He woke up and was like, "Wait, Kirk Cousins is starting the quarterback." Oh, guys, hey man, like my head's really bothering me.
It's really sore, dude.
Like, I don't know. I think I slept funny. Yeah, like, right? Like, it just was like, this feels a little weird. Like this, absolutely came out of nowhere. I mean, yeah, it was weird. Do you have any Christian or Drake London? I do not. I do. Oh, I did not, but it was like a couple spots, man. I was like, what do I do, dude? I lost every single matchup except for one. You got me. That was one of the only ones that I even had a remote chance, and then you had Tucker Kraft and just obliterated me. I was like, oh man, like, Tucker Kraft just has like a normal tight end day. I have a chance, right? Got obliterated there. And there was one other league that was like close, but like Caleb Williams killed me. Had I played any of the other quarterbacks, it's the Dynasty League, so I've got a couple other quarterbacks on the bench. Had I played any of my other quarterbacks, I win. But all of my other leagues, I'm like on a normal week, 8 out of my 10 starting roster spots were like typical flex guys. That's how bad my lineups were last week. And I've scored like 60 to 70 points in all of those leagues. It's just embarrassed in all of my leagues. Yeah, it was a brutal really bad. It was so bad. All right. Got Brock Bowers maybe coming back. Hopefully. I think he's back. He was practicing already last week with Jacoby Myers. I think we're good to go with Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers to play, barring some late in the week trade here for Jacoby Myers. But if you have Brock Bowers, I know there was some questions about should we be worried about Brock Bowers just because of the injury and the ineptitude of the Geno Smith-led Raiders offense. Look around to the tight end position, man. We're talking about Colston Loveland as a top 10 tight or top 12 tight end. You're going to play Brock Bowers every single matchup that he's healthy. I don't care how injured he is. I don't care that Geno Smith's a quarterback. He is a top 10 tight end. So if you have Brock Bowers, go ahead and fire him back up. Yeah, I think I've got him tight end 4 right now. 5 right now. But I mean, still absolutely startable. So that might be the Geno Smith factor. Just a little bit. All right. Don't have any rapid fire here. Just a lot of good big updates, thankfully. So close that segment out and jump over here to our streamers of the week. And no AJ, unfortunately. So no jokes. No big jokes here. Start off here with our quarterback, and I'll ask you about this one, Corey. I already talked about it a little bit, but Sam Darnold at Washington, he's got an ECR of QB 14. Our projections over here, face six back, have him at 17.1. He's only 44% rostered, and the Commanders allow 20.5 points to opposing quarterbacks right now. Yeah, and I think that Darnold is under rostered for what he's offered a lot of the season anyways, because he's thrown more passes than I expected. 31 pass attempts, 27 pass attempts, 34 pass attempts, 26 pass attempts, 18 against the Saints. That's the type I thought, and I think a lot of people thought that the Seahawks team was going to come out and run the ball all season. And instead, they've actually been pretty game script neutral. They've been willing to throw the ball and trust Sam Darnold to win these games for him. And he's done it. And not trying to rip on your team too much here, but like you said, other than one good pick from Lattimore, they have not exactly played a lot of good pass defense recently. And so, I think you can go ahead and run Sam Darnold in that matchup. No, when you see Liam catches the ball, turns around, and then just starts trotting from 30 yards away, it's bad. He turned, it was just like, hey guys, what's up? Man. Oh man. That's when I turned around and went, okay, I'm out of here, and left. That was pretty early.
Mm-hmm.
All right, running back. We got Bam Knight at Baltimore, ECR of 22. The projection over here, fantasy six pack, is 10.7. Remember, this is half PPR. Roster percentage, it's only 43%. And opponent's points against for Baltimore is 20.09. I do think Baltimore's defense is going to be better than this. They're healthy now, so that's going, and you could tell just last week against the Bears that made a massive difference, right? And as it should. Zonovan, Bam Knight is starting running back. Like, there's no way around it. Like, what are we doing here? And the fact that he's only rostered at 43%, I don't know if that's just people thought after the bye Benson was 100% coming back, and so they dropped him or something, or it could have also been that like you needed the roster spot for somebody to play last week, which at this rate, people that you picked up off the waiver wire to fill in for you last week probably gave you like 1.5 points, so it didn't matter. You should have kept Bam Knight. But maybe that's the type of thing that happened. I think I've seen some roster percentages from other players that it was like, why is he so low? We talked about that, I think, before the waiver wire show. It was like, why is Trey Tucker so low? Like, that made no sense. I know he hasn't been great, but again, I think it's one of those, like, you just a lot of people were desperate last week for just bodies. And but yeah, it may not be awesome, but I think at least flex worthy here with Bam Knight.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of people probably thought that Trey Benson's back this week, and he's not. He can't come back this week. This is the last week. After this week, he can be back. And just a quick shout out that I don't know if I told you wrong or we mentioned it wrong, but Bam Knight is actually at Dallas this week. That is, they're not playing Baltimore. They're playing Dallas, which is even better.
Why did I write? Oh,
I don't know. That's even better though. Baltimore is 25.09 points against. Dallas is 25.8. They are the third worst rush defense for fantasy points against in the league.
I did read. I don't know why I wrote Baltimore.
That's okay.
This was like the rush. This was the rush before the show started.
We didn't know AJ's coming, so hey, we may do. But Bam Knight at Dallas instead, and that's a great matchup too. And he should get all the work. If there was going to be a like quick hitters under the transactions, it would have been that Michael Carter got released by because that was always the other question is, oh well, what's the workload going to be? Well, they weren't released Michael Carter, the Cardinals did, and they re-signed him to the practice squad, but that means like all wheels up for Bam Knight right now. Just go ahead and play him this week.
There you go.
And
fixed.
He's a top 24 running back. There you go. Boom. Nailed it.
It was there the whole time. No,
no one saw.
Yeah, and that was a weird one. Michael Carter, like, all right, see you later, man.
It's just weird. The timing of it, I thought, was odd.
Yeah, like, well, who else do you have? I mean, DeMarcato's hurt. Like, are they gonna like activate him from the practice squad? I don't get it.
I don't know. Yeah,
it's
we'll
such
see.
A weird one. So, all right. Chimere Dike, one of our waiver ads this week is our wide receiver streamer going against the Chargers. Only 17% rostered. His projection is low at 6.5. I totally get it. Tennessee's offense is bad, but he's had a couple of good games here. We mentioned that, Sunday night on the waiver show that we recorded, and Calvin Ridley probably not back again. And DK's been the better receiver the last couple of weeks over AMNR.
Yeah, I think so. Here is my feelings towards DK is they fired Brian Callahan after week 6, and I believe it's Mike McCoy is the interim head coach. And since those 2 weeks, that's the 2 weeks that we've seen DK get involved. First, it was 4 catches on 4 targets for 70 yards and a touchdown. And then this past week, 8 targets, caught 7 of them for 93 yards. And if it's working, go ahead and stick to it. I don't trust the Tennessee to be competitive. I don't think they'll be competitive at all. But that means that we'll get a lot of pass attempts. Say what you want about Cam Ward. He's getting a lot of practice at using his arm because they're falling down a lot, and he is throwing the ball early and often because they cannot stay competitive. 38 pass attempts in the last game, and Dike was the leading target getter. I think he tied Ailman Noor with 8, but he was more efficient, and that's 2 weeks in a row. If you're looking for a wide receiver 3, you could do a lot worse right now, I tell you that.
Here's a funny stat. His recent 7 for 93 is already better than any game AMNR has had.
I would bet that's the best receiving game that a Titan has had all year.
Ridley.
Did Ridley have one good one?
Ridley did have one really good game.
Okay. I don't remember because he's had a lot of clunkers too in there.
Yeah,
he had 5 for 131 against one game. Yeah.
But the 7 receptions beats any game that AMNR has had, and so does the 93 yards. The only thing AMNR has him on is total touchdowns.
Yeah.
So it's been a weird thing there. So you gotta like that a little bit. Tight end, I'll take this one. Juwan Johnson at the Rams. Not a lot to like in the tight end department this week, I'll be honest with you. I don't really love the streaming options. Loveland was one, but we talked about him. Ertz could be another one, potentially, especially with McLaurin out, but I think he's rostered too high. So Juwan Johnson's sitting out there at 34% rostered on Yahoo leagues. I was kind of down on Johnson for a couple of weeks there after a hot start where it was 11, 9, and 8 targets. It was 3, 4, 2. It was like, oh no, like he's just not being used at all. Then they finally figured out, oh hey, it's like they remembered they have this 6'7" beast running down the middle. It's like, oh hey, the Chargers got this guy over here that's doing the same thing. He's like the same size. Can we do that? And yeah, it's like, hey, yeah, we got the same thing. So he went 5 of 7 for 79 yards and then 5 of 8 for 53 yards this past week. Gets the Rams, a pretty tough matchup. I don't expect a lot, I think, from anybody on this team really, but I guess you could at least say they're going to probably have to pass a lot. And to be honest with you, like they have sort of abandoned the run game in New Orleans. It's just kind of a weird thing. So you're just hoping for volume. And I'd rather play the volume game when streaming a tight end than trying to play the touchdown roulette game.
And that is a tough game to play, the touchdown roulette game. I do think I like Johnson too as an option. If you want some other options, I could have mentioned, I think Pat Freiermuth is unlikely to play this week, which creates one less target in Pittsburgh. So Jonnu becomes more usable.
Yeah.
That one I could have mentioned. So I think he's got to be under 40%. Yeah, he's 20% rostered. So if Freiermuth misses, they will still have Darnell Washington there too, but he's more of the blocking and just like a red zone guy. So I think Jonnu becomes more usable. They have an extremely tough matchup against Indy.
Yeah, Indy's been really, really good. So I don't love that matchup for sure. I remember looking at Jonnu and be like, oh, whatever. But I don't know why I missed the Freiermuth news. So that's good to know. So
I feel like I'm unqualified to talk about defenses.
I'll do it. Our big D streamer of the week. I gotta get the Corey laughing. I gotta get the Corey laughing somehow. AJ, I did you proud. Hopefully, we got the Baltimore Ravens against Miami. I got this one right. I hope. Yep. Yeah. Look. Baltimore, as I mentioned earlier, looked way better last week against the Bears, right? They've gotten healthier. They were doing what they do, right? They fly around the field. They are, physical defense, and that's what they do. Miami, yes, looked really, really good last week. 40 points, I think, and shocked a lot of people, including myself. But I don't think that's something you can rely on with them, to the point almost where it's like you did it once. So now we're going to get like 3 or 4 weeks in a row where you can't get anywhere close to that. And so that's kind of what you're hoping for. The Dolphins allow 9.1 points to opposing defenses, which is pretty high up there. I believe it's like 5th or 6th most or something like that. 7th most. Or sorry, 8. That was interjects. 8th most. So still pretty high. Only rostered in 41% of leagues. Our defensive stream-o-matic over here at Fantasy Six Pack, which is a phenomenal tool, by the way. If you have never used it, it is something where we put a bunch of stats together, a bunch of metrics together, and it just spits out a value for the defenses this week. And the Ravens rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th right now. Behind the Lions, the Chargers, the Packers, the Rams, the Broncos, the Jags, the Texans, and then the Ravens. So my rankings don't necessarily match the stream-o-matic tool, but it is something that I consider heavily in my defensive rankings. And yeah, I do. This is a great tool. We try to update it every Tuesday. Sometimes some of the data we need isn't available, so it doesn't come out till Wednesday, unfortunately. But if we can get it updated by Tuesday, it's really good for like the waiver wire. Like if you stream defenses, which a lot of people do, and I highly suggest you do. I do it in every single one of my leagues that uses defenses because why not? I don't want to rely on a defense all year long. Good luck with that.
I wonder who the actual highest scoring defense is on the season. This should be a fun way to end the show here.
That's a good question. Who do guess?
Not whose it is. I would not have got it.
The Jags were up there for a while.
They have fallen well off the cliff here.
Yeah,
with
I know.
Couple of atrocious. They had a -4 in their last matchup against the Rams.
Yeah.
I'm on So part of the problem with defenses is that all the scoring is different. So I'm on Yahoo scoring. I have not memorized the scoring. Their highest scoring defense is the New England Patriots with 76.
I probably would not have guessed that.
No. New England, Indianapolis, Tampa Bay, Seattle, and Houston rounds out the top 5.
I was trying to think of like defenses that have scored a bunch of touchdowns, and I don't know if I recall the Patriots
Tampa Bay
scoring
has a couple.
Yeah.
The Patriots.
Tampa got the one last week against New Orleans where like the lineman just comes in and like tips it to himself.
That looked like the tight end. Honestly, I thought he was the tight end. Like he looked like it was so easy for him. The Patriots have had 2 kick return touchdowns. That's part of it. They've had 3 of them, including 2 kick returns. Indy has 10 interceptions already. That is I guess it's not the most. The Bears have had 11. But
the Bears are up there, and the Jags had a ton of turnovers like the first 4 weeks of the season. So that's kind of why I thought that they were up there too. But all right, that is it for the show. Hope everybody enjoyed it and got some good advice for the week. And if you're still around, hit that subscribe button, that like button, leave those comments. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, our all access memberships are always available. Jump over to Fantasy Six Pack. Become an all-access member. You get the rankings, the award-winning, all of our DFS and betting stuff, our projections. You get us right in the Discord, and you can ask us anything you want for your custom leagues there. Use promo code F6PPods and save 15%. And with that, I am out. Corey, any final words, or are you done?
I'm just glad that you took the Big D segment of the week.
I had no shame. You should know that by now. I'm right. I've been doing this long enough with AJ. I have no shame. So we'll leave it at that. All right. Good luck, everybody. Peace.